For
All right,
sure.
my brother. I will depart. Game
Yes,
JDZ, behave yourselves, and
absolutely not.
Well,
we'll see you in a little bit.
No, we will not be behaving. In fact, the opposite, because Devin
hey,
would be upset if we behaved.
let's go. And we got
And
him in the building right now. Southside Gaming's finest. Devin is in the building, holding down with that bounty, Matt. He's hanging on to it. And Mai is trying to be the first one that claims one. Has anyone lost a bounty so far that you know of, Gabe?
not that I know of. I've been out there. I'm going to ask production to post something in the chat if they know of anybody who's lost their bounty yet. We'll do a double check after this round, and we'll see who has or who hasn't. But we know that Devin hasn't. Devin has held on to his, and we know that because look at that beautiful mat.
I see it right now. Both of those mats are absolutely gorgeous. As my rocking the amethyst and steel, Devin on the patent pending
Yes.
blurple. There was not as much blurple in this tournament as I thought. I did look at the meta reports so far behind the scenes. I don't want to spoil too much, but there's not that much blurple representation. And I think that deck is much stronger than it has been represented. I did mention that in the pregame that the steel song matchup is so abysmally bad that it might encourage a lot of people not to bring the strategy. But Devin saying, you know what, I'm gonna be brave. I'll do what I got to do as we alter 6.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me tell you something. I saw, having hung out with Devin for quite a bit now since we've started these events. Devin loves this color. He loves sapphire amethyst. Like he's tried other color combinations. He's a very skilled player, very great player of just card games in general.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been playing all kinds of different strategies, different decks. He just keeps getting brought back to this, and you're gonna see some of the craziness. He loves the popsicle and the bell. He thinks that's
Yeah.
great because what he wants to be able to do is shift the purple the amethyst bell on top of the little bell. Like he just loves the synergy of this
Okay.
deck. We're going to see some of that in it, hopefully showcased here.
And I have noticed that about the Blurple crew, as Sapphire Amethyst typically known as Blurple. A lot of players, they are definitely true to this strategy. They'll stick with it. They're very loyal to their colors. As we do get that turn one popsicle inking that beautiful enchanted
Yep.
full art. Let it go. Love to see it flexing
Yeah.
on everybody.
Oh, yeah. Expect nothing less than full max rarity from Devin's deck. By the way, that includes the big Elsa. By the way,
Oh
just
my.
for those, yeah. You're gonna get. There's gonna be a lot of shock of like, oh my, why would he play? So just get that out of the way now, folks. Just get it
Okay.
out of the way because I'll tell you, you're gonna see him.
Okay, Ballin' Outrage. I would expect nothing less as we're going to lead Chernobog followers here. Let's see if we can match that energy. A little bit of ramp on 2. You find it in the form of Sail the Azurite Sea. So this Chernobog will be able to hit the board uncontested, it seems, unless Devin can drop a 1-cost character here on 3, and you cannot. So a free
No.
quest by Chernobog looking good for my.
It is now. Granted, it feels good now, but being ahead of the curve when it comes to your ink count is a very big deal in Blurple. Now, the goal, of course, with Blurple is, and one of the big draws to it is I can play a genie one turn early, which means therefore I get to play an Elsa one turn
Mm-hmm.
early, and a genie plus an Elsa. That strength combination equals taking down an opponent's genie in
For
one
sure.
shot. So it's a big deal. Like that one ramp difference, that one ink difference is huge in this game.
For sure. Just winning that evasive war, winning that genie war. But we know that this amethyst steel deck can have a different type of varieties in which this deck can be built. It can be built a little bit more mid-range. So I'm interested to see how Mai has put this thing together. We are getting those 1-cost characters flooded to the board, double broom, Chernobog, and now you're going to get all that checked down by this rabbit. What do you think here? Are you cashing in this board and zapping this tempo, or are you just going to serve up some things for this potential fox to come in next
So
turn?
that's a great question. So I'm looking at Mai's hand. Mai's got some okay options. We see a couple of songs that can deal with problems, and then some of those songs, well, specifically strength, the strength raging on. What's
Mhm.
what's important about that one, of course, is we want to have a large board to be able to target large characters. So Mai with this hand is kind of de-incentivized from popping those characters. If you want to kind of get rid of this rabbit right
Mhm.
now. So if it was me, I don't feel enough pressure yet to do it now. I like what she's got in hand. I probably would hold on. I probably would hold on to them if I can.
For
I would
sure.
try to. I would try to get rid of this rabbit and then just try to keep questing out with these characters for one or two more turns before I turn them in for something.
I concur. I think I would even almost thought about just leaving that Chernobog there and just getting a super down tempo strength, just clear this rabbit And if you got the Elsa, you got the Elsa, and just roll the dice that way. But they always have the Elsa, and she's probably going to be coming in. So we're gonna go ahead and get a double pop here. You
Ooh,
will
okay.
zap a tremendous amount of your tempo out that way, but I guess you felt the Elsa threat was too strong, and you had to clear your
Yeah.
own board in order to make room for some new cards added to your hand. Your hand's quite healthy as you're going to pass back on over to a single rabbit.
Absolutely, and you made a point about Elsa. I think that's if the fifth spirit is such a powerful card.
Hmm.
And I think we give her some credit. We give her enough credit. But the thing about Elsa is she is a card you have to respect, even if you have not seen her yet. You have to trust that she will be there because she creates such a problem in the math for you when it comes to playing your characters. Like just the respect on Elsa is crazy and is well deserved.
Absolutely, and they always have it. They never don't have it.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me
That's one
about
thing
it.
I've learned about Disney Lorcana is that if you think they don't have it, guess what? They always got it.
Right, they got
Uh,
3 of them.
for sure. As we are going to take another sale of the Azurite Sea, the rare and indigenous double sailing. Typically, this Blurple strategy, this Sapphire Amethyst strategy, will just ramp the one time. But Devin, I'll be interested to see if he gets another card down to the Inkwell. Maybe trying to turbo down this Elsa, or maybe get into these Hades turns a bit early, and we will double ramp here. Thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the double ramp, big deal because as we're seeing, you are able to. Oh, give me my apologies. Oh, yeah, with the double ramp. I mean, just like that's like the key differentiator here. The one thing that keeps us in line with each other when we're playing a game is there's a couple things, right? It's the tempo, and the way I lose that tempo is either you draw too many cards, I can't do anything about it, or you get too much, you get way more ink than I do. Now,
Hmm.
generally, how that happens is I'm not able to ink a card. The other way is play Sapphire. That's the other way,
Yeah.
and we're doing that. Devin is definitely playing Sapphire with to the strongest effect that they can. We're seeing all kinds of answers in hand, and yeah,
Yeah.
Maya I would say is not in a fantastic spot, even though her lore count kind of indicates not horrible, but yeah, it gets away quick.
I would totally concur with that assessment. You're looking at Devin's inkwell, it's jacked. You look at his hand, it's jacked. You look at his board position, it's stacked. You're not outflanked. Typically, this blurple strategy, when they get outflanked, when you have more characters on the opposite side, that's when they start to worry. Or if that hand gets 2 cards, 1 card, that's when they need to start to worry. But this is a very comfortable blurple position. But looking at my side, this Sapphire, or excuse me, this Amethyst Steel deck, I'm looking at it. I'm seeing docks involved. I'm seeing like the snakes involved. So maybe you're playing like more of this version with the cobras
Yeah,
and the goats, so you can get a little bit of reach in there. So if you can get up to 15, I mean, maybe you can cross the finish line with this deck. So it's never going to be over. But right now, I think your position is starting to
yeah.
falter a bit.
No, I mean, here's the thing. So what Mai just did is extremely indicative and is very telling. Devin is a very smart player and knows what's going on because Mai just played 2 docks back to back
Yeah.
without activating its effect. So that tells me that she was choked out on these docks. She's got, if I had to bet, she's got one more. And
Hmm.
fortunately for us, unfortunately for Devin, but Devin's probably going to make that bet too. We
Hmm.
get to see Maya's hand, and we see that she does have a third. She does have another character there. So yeah, that dock playing 2 docks, not activating them, that's not a great place to be. Not a great
Man,
place to be.
that is a very unfortunate group. Those docs do run in packs, man. They come in pairs. As we are going to get the Infernal Schemer, we ramp to him, and we do break up that potential Singer as the White Rose goes down to the Inkwell. That will help advance her position a little bit, but still, I think that is just a devastating blow because you could have potentially got a nice little dock chain, potentially saying that string, remove this genie and vibe there, but this is going to set you back so strong. And this Hades is also potentially setting up a nice questing character with that 6. It's going to be very difficult for her to clear this
Yeah.
6 as well.
Yeah, and even worse, like we see the Hades. The Hades was a problem. Look at Devin's hand. 2 more Hades are lying in wait, and a
Hmm.
fox to keep the pain alive. Like this is not going to be a good sequence. These next few turns, it's just going to be a lot of board advancement on Devin's end, sending characters into the inkwell on the other side of it to Mai until we get to a point where Devin's sitting with 3 Hades, a fox, a genie, and Mai is just sitting there with a lot of ink and potentially not a whole lot to do with it.
Okay, but she's still slowly starting to tick up in the lore count. Devin has not turned on the questing ability. He's still just been slowly trying to turn this corner. I do feel the current corner has been turned. I think if you can clear this last board, I think you're on your way to a nice clean game. Number one, you can start questing. I believe this Hades might be imminent coming into the field of play. Pete is up and active, so you can't get that friends on the other side saying, I think this might be the time to start turning the corner here if you could do so with this second Hades.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have the ability. He very easily. Devin can take care of that dock if he so chooses. Opting, it looks like, instead to quest out with those characters.
Mm-hmm.
Identifying the dock is not really a problem, and then deciding, well, what do I do? I've got 7 ink left. Using all 7, of course, to play one of his trio of Hades that are between the board and the hand, and choosing
I
to
think
send somebody.
for sure. I think I got to go after that Pete again. I think that's
Yep.
an excellent heads up play. You are continuing to ramp your opponent again, but you're keeping that seeing option set up to keep that tempo inverted, I would say. So now you got an interesting choice here. I think you might almost be forced into this Cobra discard dock ink strength play dock play, which I know feels terrible, but I
Yeah.
think that's your only line coming in from Maya. She's thinking deep about it. Devin has to be feeling very comfortable with his position that he set up for himself.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you kind of see Mai's kind of indicating that, right? Like she's kind of arranged her ink in a way to, and I do this too. I'm an ink arranger. I like to
Nice.
visualize in my mind's eye what will the board look like after I'm done putting everything down, and that includes the ink. And sometimes that gives away your position to your opponent. But if you're going to play these cards anyway, it's not that big of a deal. You just want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure you're making the right plays. You're doing so smart. The worst thing you can do is play too quick, play too loose. You make a mistake. You get a judge called on you. You did things in the wrong sequence. You don't draw what you should have drawn. So I always encourage you to make the best play, the smartest play, and just don't slow play, but just take a little bit of time and think about what you're doing.
They call that a little pregnant pause, what we called it back in the day. I don't know if that's still a thing. I don't know if that's politically correct if I can say that, but a little pause, just a
Yeah,
quick,
well,
a
yeah.
quick
There you go.
just a slight pause to make sure that everything is on the up and up before you just send it. I think that's one of my biggest weaknesses in my own game. I just send it way too hard. As we are going to send this dock back to hand there instead of the Cobra, I think that might be a heads up maneuver,
Yeah.
trying to keep the fuel rolling. And now that's something Devin's going to have to consider.
Oh, you're not kidding. I mean, that dock is a problem. Getting yourself 2 more cards and just keeping the chain aligned, keeping the chain alive here. The dock chain. I know Katie talks about the daisy chain. We got to think about the dock chain too. You snake a dock, you fox a dock, and that means 2 more cards. And so you're right to say it's a heads up play, and Devin knows it, and Devin's got to be considering it, especially that Maya is more than halfway to her goal of that magical 20 lore that you need to win this game.
100%, 100%. So, and honestly, my position is still it's starting to stabilize a bit as Devin is starting to count the numbers, and now you're getting to this point where if you get a couple quests in, another Cobra comes in, those goats start flowing. If you get a huge dock chain and you can't answer these ready characters, and you're not able to challenge anybody to set up your bail plays, this might be starting to fall apart a little bit for Devin now, who is going to have to think deeply about these next few turns. You have that other Hades. Maybe you're trying to get maximum value out of that third Infernal Schemer. I'm not sure how many you're playing in the strategy right now.
Yeah, I mean, we know there's one more in hand from what we can see on screen here. At least one more. Actually, it looks like I believe I saw a second one actually in hand. I
Mm-hmm.
could be wrong about that. So we're playing the
Oh,
full 4x loadout. It looks like of Hades.
oh wow. So yeah, this is looking great. And you got that bell as well. So you could even send this Hades in, get some combat going, get that bell going, pop some more characters. This could be huge. The reverse Rapunzel trap, Bizarro World Rapunzel trap here
Yeah, you
with this
go.
with this bell, the accomplished mystic coming on in. And you got
Yeah,
bounce too. Ooh, yeah, this is looking
yeah,
great.
exactly. You've got the balance. The Hades can keep coming back. Hades is the most effective removal tool in Blurple's toolkit,
Mm-hmm.
and just being able to bounce them back. Conversely, when we think about why we play bounce in a color combination like Amethyst Steel, it's generally more about bouncing back things like Peats, like Docks. Peats are less effective against Blurple, but that Dock, if we can chain them up, can create a very uncomfortable board state. Now, speaking of uncomfortable board states, though, Devin, boy, oh
Oof.
boy, we've got 3 blue flame-headed devils.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I don't know if my can. I don't know what they can do to clear 6 willpower in this strategy effectively. I know they can play Zeus, they can play Strength, but you are now outflanked by the
Yeah, you're not kidding. We gotta talk. We gotta talk about crabs, and we gotta talk
inked
about
out
snakes and
resource.
foxes and all the crazy things that
Yeah.
happen when it gets to like bouncing around and stuff like that.
Mhm. And still, most of the time, those aren't that clean because you're going to probably lose some cards in the process. I'm talking like where you can clean it like a 1-for-1 or a plus value, take out a Hades. It's very, very difficult for this Amethyst Steel strategy to do that. And it's looking like this one might be going uphill. You're going to have to get this dock. It's going to have to pull some phenomenal units off the top of this deck, I would say. A series of goats and a series of bounce potentially is your only way you're going to have to win this game within the next few turns.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my is kind of in a frozen state right here. No pun intended, of course, with Amethyst. But Maya's got to consider whether it's worth turning characters sideways. Now, this is an interesting decision. Opting to play the library, it looks like it's a diversionary tactic. It's something to throw in the way of Devin to maybe think that that's more important. And this might not be a horrible play considering where Maya sits in her count for lore. Being closer in lore count, a library as a diversionary tactic might be the thing you need. You've got Dock down, and we've got 2 fresh cards. And Mai is saying, you know what? I've already got a little bit of a lead. Let's run these jets, and let's see what else we can do with it. We do see that there is still some ink available. Mai is deciding to play a character. Yep, deciding to play the fox, bouncing
Okay.
the dog. There you go, bouncing the dog back.
Back
We're gonna
again.
we're gonna do it again. Yeah, tag team back again.
I would have loved to see. Now, I think that might be a slight misplay from Devin in that last sequence because he did have that bell. I would have loved seeing that bell move that damage off of that Hades and take out another character that turn instead of going second Hades because you would have
Yeah.
cleared that character and you wouldn't have ramped your opponent and they would not have made that dynamic turn that they did. So he did leave a slight window open. I still think you're in a very comfortable spot, but you're going to probably want that one back because that Hades could have survived
Yeah,
as you left him exposed.
that's a very fair point. You got to wonder. There's always like a matter of value when we think about why we play the cards we play and when we play them. We know that we have a finite number of any particular tool, so you have to
Mhm.
consider: is this worth it? Is it worth it to use the bell now? Will there be a better moment later to use bell?
Mm.
Will I have the opportunity to do it? So there's always these factors at play, and we always get to look back. And that's the cool thing about these games is you get a lot of hindsight. You get a lot of hindsight. You get
For
to look
sure.
back and say, boy, oh boy, I shouldn't have done X, Y, or Z. And everybody who watches the game, of course, they're all going to say the same thing. They're going to say, I bet I would have never done that. No, you don't. You
No,
say that. You don't know that.
yeah. And
You don't know that.
I'm way better in the broadcast booth than I am in the field of play. I'm telling you right now, I can see because you can see so much, especially when you see the other person's hand and you
Yep.
see everything. You're watching games all day, but when you're actually from your own field of view, is just so much smaller. As Devin is still trying to play this thing absolutely accurately, you're in a very commanding position, but you know how this Amethyst Steel deck can go, and I'm sure Devin knows how this thing can go. They started "This Is My Family," the Dwight Rose, a freaking I don't know, and the game is just over. A goat off the top with a bounce. So you really have to continue to play these turns, that you're going to get a heavy quest in. It looks like you're going to try
Yep.
to run the race.
Running the race, clearing the board, saying, "Hey, you know what? You can if you get one more next turn because I leave that library alive, I'll take that because I still have 6 lore worth of characters to turn sideways unless you can do something about it." And hopefully that doc doesn't net my any ways to deal with these answers. That's got to be what Devin's thinking for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because next turn, Devin can get to 16, and from 16, Mai's in a world of pain if she cannot figure out how to like collect a board state that does something for her.
But this Amethyst Steel player with that much ink, I don't think I've ever seen an Amethyst Steel player that inked up as 4 Hades is going to kind of advance your spot a little bit. So you can completely flood this board again, get another
Oof.
dockening, get everybody
Oh,
into the library, and
oh,
oh, sorry,
we we
I'm on the wrong one. Let me zoom back to the right stream. I'm looking at the wrong visual over here. Here we go. Yeah, we're flooding and we get the huge strength off. So this actually
this
this
just changed the whole complexion of where we were going. This is insane.
this is everything. I think she might have turned it around.
I think
As
yes, I think she did.
this is going to be tough unless you can get like you and all the characters are ready as well. So this
This
might be
is
tough. Well, actually,
crazy.
we got that Spirit of Winter in hand. So let's think about this because you got 5 that you need to worry about. So you
Yep.
tap down 2, or you can put down the Smee and one of the other things you can challenge
Correct.
into one of them with the Hades. I don't know how much ink you have. I can't tell, but if you have that 12 or excuse me 13 ink, which you might be close to, you can go bail here as well and clear the board. So let's see how Devin breaks this down. You have options. I'm not sure how much ink you have available. I can't quite count. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think you have 13. So you can go Elsa and Bell this turn. You
You
can
can, yeah.
exert the Smee, clear the Smee, pop the other White Rose, blast the Chernobog, and you got to start putting some hits into this library because you got to start clearing this board.
Yeah. We are. I mean, Devin is on a timer. Whether or not these characters are dealt with, which to your point looks like will be the case. We do have that Spirit of Winter that can certainly really change the complexity of this game and make the two of these characters unusable effectively for two full turns. But yeah, like we still have a clock. That library is still a clock. Devin's got to deal with that clock either way, because the closer we get to that 20 number, like with Amethyst Steel, to your point, as you were talking about those goats, those white roses, all in the families, all these cards that just give us reach, that allow us to collect on some of that. Oh, and
Is that the fifth? That's a fifth spirit.
That is
and
a
we're
fifth
tapping
spirit
down the Chernobog here.
Yeah. So Devin is opting to slow the play down. Devin is saying, you know what? I don't think I need to immediately drop down this. Now, interesting. Oh, I got a
Look
feeling.
at that.
What an interesting
Look at
option.
that.
So Devin decided to capitalize on the shift ability of that Spirit of Winter. Use the first effect, the first Elsa, in order to tap one character, using the additional effect of Spirit of Winter to tap two more characters to to apply a pressure that is untenable. And I think this is the end of the game. That was a very strong play by Devin.
But you do have a Cobra off the top, and we're so back. If you're mine, what did she draw? Cobra wins here because you can't quest. You gain one from that library, and Cobra will walk off with this thing. So you did leave that out a little bit open. Like you said, you always got to play to your outs. I don't know what she has. She has the ability to draw a card here and potentially find that Cobra. I think you can get out of this. Let's see if she could do it. Hey, it's a crab. Never mind.
We see a crab. Okay. Interesting choice here. Opting to send the dock into the Elsa, dealing. Okay, so to try. Mai is trying to create a spot where Devin is no longer unlethal.
But she got no card to discard.
Yes, she needs one more card.
Can you get somebody into the library?
That's gonna be the trick. Yeah, she's gonna have to send somebody to.
But you can't.
You can't because the characters are tapped down and the crab is wet. The crab is wet, so crab cannot do anything just yet.
Oh, that is insane. You needed one more card away. Look at that. What a game. What a game, man.
Was heartbreaking.
Wow. Holy.
Wow.
Flipping game, man.
That was down to the wire. Oh my gosh. JDZ. What the heck did we just see?
Dude, she was close, man. Dang.
Dang.
But still, I think both players played it super well. I think you had to understand the position line and mine not giving up. I know a lot of people getting rained down on Hades like that, just getting absolutely outvalued by those guys, might discourage a lot of people, but she stuck with it and almost found a way to win it. And it's going to be what it is.
So unfortunately for Mai, that means that the bounty is off the table. It has to be a 2-0 in order to clear that bounty. At this point, what Mai is fighting for is not necessarily for her life, because one loss is just not likely to get you knocked out of here. But you want to be put in the best position that you can, and we want to make sure that we can leave this clean. So Mai's going to have to figure out. I need to be able to win on the play, which she's going to get a chance to do then, and she needs to also think about, okay, well, going into a game 3, because obviously Mai wants that game 3. She's going to have to figure out how to do it then on the draw as well. And
I think we might have missed something. How did we miss that? I think that Elsa should have been banished in that previous challenge. Shout out to the judges there. I'm not on the scene. I don't know how the judges called it, but I think that Elsa should have been banished on that crab dock challenge, because Elsa challenges the Chernobog, takes 2 damage, and then gets hit with a 4-piece, and it should have been down, and it didn't go down. And Devin would have quested up to 4. I'm not certain what happened there. It might have just been overlooked. I think I can't quite see the dice from my position. and we'll have to get with the floor judges on that. But I'm certain it was just a mistake. Something could have so it could have just come up there, and accidents do happen. I'm certain it wasn't malicious
Yeah,
at all.
of course not. Of course
But
not.
it's just one of those things that we just had to get missed there.
Yeah. So and yeah, we'll certainly see if we can get more information on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Excellent.
For sure, for sure. And
Okay.
it's both players' responsibility to maintain that game. And I'm certain
Yeah.
it was an accident of something that just kind of goes down. But
For
it is
sure.
what it is. I mean, Chernobog Broom, we probably thought it was just a one damage kind of thing, and you just kind of missed out on it. But I again, it's just a slight mistake. It is what it is, and we're going to
Yeah.
have to short term memory. If and I'm sure if it comes up later, I'm sure we'll try to rectify the situation. But still, it's taking nothing away. I still think that game was great, and I'd
Yes.
be excited to see how now mine knows what the matchup is and how to negotiate this matchup. I think that maybe she could do something a little bit different. So what do you want to see from Mai to combat what this Blurble strategy is trying to do?
Now that mine knows what's up, I feel like her mulligan's going to be much better. I'll tell you, I've played her a few times. She's a local here. We see her all the time. She's part of Team Chili. And we're friends as well.
Mm-hmm.
My is a very very observant player. She learns, like she watches. The game one for her is like a moment to watch and to learn, and then game two and game three for her is just like that lock in. Like the Jets flip and she locks in. Like she's beaten me 2-1 many a time where I took game one and she's like, great, now that I know what stupid thing you're doing, I got you. And then she just turns it around on me. So I can tell you from experience that game one is very impactful for her, and if she can help it, and she has the capability, she will not let that fall. She can take this 2-1 just simply by making sure that she handles and is aware of the potential dangers, right? Like getting into that ink 8 or that ink 6 with the Elsa in play, with the Spirit of Winter at play. You got to be careful. It's kind of like playing against a be prepared, and being cautious about what you lay down, what you don't lay down. How do you expose yourself in terms of what's on the
Mm-hmm.
board and what you might want to keep as a solution for after some of the more crazy things happening.
Absolutely, and I think this is just one of those matchups too that is just quite. I think I've always felt that Blurple or Amethyst Sapphire is the apex predator of the Amethyst strategies. In my opinion, I think
Yeah.
it goes hard. Any deck that wants to do combat type battle and meet in the dojo, I like to say, when they meet in the field of play and challenging and banishing, I think Blurple reigns supreme in that. So maybe if Mike can find another alternate path, maybe use some of your steel removal, maybe if you can get like your play these evasive wars or try to do something like that, or flood the board and try to reach and just try to find a different way to win instead of trying to get into this fox crab game, because I just don't think that you can win that fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're not kidding about that. And we see already, just as we're starting to do this board establishing thing, right? We got the popsicle into the bell, and then we played a tipo. So on Devin's side, we are collecting some characters, some glimmers to save us. Mai
Mm-hmm.
is saying early on, hey, before you get too wild there, and you want to, I see how much you like singing about your friends that are on the other side. Maybe not next turn. Maybe you won't be doing that, as Pete comes down and slows the play down a little bit for Devin.
Absolutely. So it looks like we do have the P set up. We do have the SME set up, and we are not going to exert the SME. We're going to leave him ready, probably trying to set up for this super up tempo strength of a raging fire turn that they like to do. Bring out the Pete, bring out another character, blast something. So I'm sure Devin is tracking that line of play, and let's see how you either try to avoid that, or will you not play into it at all. Maybe you don't put out as a beautiful Enchanted Finders Keeper goes down to
Oh
peak
yeah.
well.
Absolutely, yeah. We do love good enchanters here. The rabbit coming down, Merlin rabbit, of course. The theme on brand as we are playing at the Merlin 10K. So Merlin rabbit, perfectly on theme here.
Nice, nice. I like it. You got the whole the Merlin, the Arthur. You got the Madam Mim. You got the Fox Man. I think it's very thematic tournament. I just noticed it. I didn't notice. I did notice it, but I didn't realize how on brand it was. And
Yeah, everything we do here at SSG JD is everything's on purpose. I promise you. No, just listen. Some of it's chaotic as all get out, and we're trying to figure it out. But at least some of the cool things are are planned for, and that's certainly one of them.
that is really awesome.
We see the genie, the beginning of a genie war, as we start to sing away that bell. Singing
Interesting.
Strength, yeah.
So we do go strength here and hit the bell. What are your thoughts there? I'm taking that rabbit. If I
Yeah.
see a blurple player leave their rabbit exposed, you better believe that rabbit's got to get out of here.
100%.
Go.
My may have overvalued her board state here. What she's thinking about is, well, if the rabbit comes into the Pete or the Smee, well, it'll take out the Smee. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It'll be forced to go into the Smee and take it out. So she's overvaluing the board state versus valuing the fact that, maybe Devin starts bouncing that rabbit and all of a sudden the hand
Yeah.
gets out of control. I'm with you. I would have dealt with that rabbit first, but let's see if Mike can figure out a way
For
around.
sure.
And maybe we're wrong. Maybe we don't know what we're talking about.
Absolutely. Maybe she's got another plan too. And maybe, like you said, you just want to get that bell off. But Rabbit can also sing the friends. Rabbit can sing all the tunes that Bell could do. Rabbit can clear all the characters that Bell could clear, except for that Pete. Maybe you just really value that Pete being around, bouncing the Pete back to your hand. But even bouncing Pete in this matchup isn't that great because they don't play too many actions. So I'd love to see that Rabbit off the board because now Devin is going to be able to probably get some more value out of this rabbit as the game goes along, unless he's just trying to clear some of Mai's lore off and just use this rabbit to clear the Smee. And he's going to do that. So I'm taking that too.
So my, opting to do that, that is good for my, a lot of the concerns that we had about that rabbit is not there now. Does that necessarily make that the right play? What my did? Not necessarily. I think that's a good lesson for players that are watching this game, especially if you're newer players. Just because something worked out in your favor doesn't necessarily make it the right play, and I think that's an important thing to learn about trading card games.
Yeah, if Devin goes around and sings friends with Rabbit and plays Snake and bounce Rabbit to the hand, it was absolutely the incorrect play. I'm just going to say it straight up, just like that.
Yeah.
But it worked out. It worked out great this time. As we're going to go ahead and hit a little bit of Crab Trap. Tipo gets the base boost required to clear the Pete Games referee and leaving Genie on crab action right here as we got 5 in hand for Devin.
Yeah, we call that a high value play, right? Anytime that you can get rid of a lower cost character that you played to get rid of a higher cost character, and that in the world of trading card games is a good value. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for good value trades. And the more good value, if you can get more good value trades on your opponent than your opponent can get on you, there's a pretty good shot you end up winning that match. So it's something to think about as we move forward and we see this board state. We got a Genie on my side, we got a Fox and a Tipo, and a lot of ink sitting on Devin's side.
Yeah, he's on his way. And the thing about Mai's board, she's only comfortably sitting at 3. You love to be at like 10, 9 or 10 right now. You're still sitting at 3. You haven't really exerted any of your characters. Devin's got to be absolutely loving that position because your ink is doing its thing, your hand is doing its thing, and your board is still fine. You're not completely outmaneuvered yet. You do have these 2 evasive threats on the board in the name of Genie, Wish Fulfilled, both of them up and active. But it's still not that much, not that bad. You're still getting into the top end of your deck. As you saw last round, you had 4 Hades, 1 in hand right now.
Yep, absolutely. And, we're starting to see some of these answers starting to collect themselves, deciding whether inking it is the right place. So we are inking that bell and we're playing that Hades. Hades is good to deal with a Genie. And just kind of establishing that board control again. And we are in a position where Hades are on the table. We're getting pretty close to a place where we can start bouncing the Hades and replaying Hades and just be creating a lot of panic and chaos over on my side of the board.
But we saw what happened last time that went down as we get a huge hand flip. Triple dock again. You got to shuffle that.
Docks.
Shuffle that deck, big dog.
Color, I see you in the chat. Do me a favor. I need you to quickly Google what do we call a group of docks? What's the right answer for that one?
I think it's a group of docks. What is that? Dang, what is it called? A symposium? I don't know.
Yeah. Let's go with a symposium of docks. Let's do that. I love it.
A symposium. I don't know, but that happened in back-to-back games there for Mai, as she's fully docked, multiple docks on the board. We did get value from one, and we did see her get those docks start bouncing around too, which is a pretty good use of some bounce and get those docks redeployed. As Devin is kind of doing your job for you, refilling your inkwell with some of these characters, and your docks can go a little bit further. But man, that is so brutal to break on these things back-to-back games.
It is. Yeah, that's so tough. I mean, that is not that. This is the equivalent of getting 3 whole new worlds, or this is the same thing, right? You don't want to see it. You want these things spread around. The perfect ratio of docks is one dock, and then two cards later another dock. That's
There you
what you
go.
want. When
There
you
you
play a
go.
dock, there should be a dock in the next two cards that you draw.
And I'm telling
That's
you
the
right
right
now,
ratio.
that game, I'm sure you've been on the other side of that. That is a brutal feeling when someone get those perfect dock lineups. When they go dock spam spam dock spam spam dock, and you're like, oh my goodness, can
No,
you chill,
yeah.
please? I need you to
Listen, I'm
relax.
about to spill some pickle juice on this table and ruin cards. Is what I'm about to have. I'm about to flip this table. You play triple docks on me in the right moment.
Oh, when they
Disgusting.
come, like, when we go dock boom boom dock boom boom, it's like a freaking like a I don't know. It's devastating.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
worse to me. That's worse than getting hit with Rapunzel for 3. I think when you're
yeah,
getting
yeah.
docked for a billion.
Or even worse, it's like a dock, a one drop snake. Bring back the dock. Or
Oh my goodness! Now we're cooking. Now
yeah, there
we're
you go.
cooking. As Devin is thinking about how you're going to engage with these docs, maybe you're afraid of them getting bounced back to hand, and you kind of saw what happened to you last round, as your opponent was able to start to bounce these docs back and get tremendous value again. As you're going to start bouncing the Hades here, Madam M. Fox can't really challenge and engage with anyone, as Peak Game Referee is now added to the hand. Do you have some bounce? Let's see if you can get to it. No
Yeah.
bounce seen.
Now's the time to get them. If you got them, lay them down and start using them, because they're going to add some value. We see White Rose, more of those cards that give Maya that reach a little bit more there. We do see these docs kind of staring at each other, a bunch of smart individuals with PhDs, as we drop down a games referee, and say, hey, we're going to pause you on your actions here. Now, the thing that makes Devin scary is not the actions. It is this ability to just send away characters into the inkwell. It's primarily single target threats. So my going wide here, having a lot of characters, is certainly not something Devin wants to see, because Blurple has a pretty hard time when it comes to dealing with multiple threats in a single action.
And already, again, looking at my score total, her lore total, she's sitting at 12, which is anything over 15, anything over 10 for this deck. You know they can come out there and get it. We haven't seen any goats yet thus far coming in from Mai, so they're got to be due. I'm certain if you're playing White Rose, you got to be playing goat. As we are going to go ahead and ramp up this genie as well, as Devin is working hard trying to turn the corner yet again. We'll clear a couple of these docks to break up that potential bounce line. And now the corner is slowly starting to be turned yet again.
Yeah, I mean, Mai is kind of in a race mode. I think that's one of the cool things about Amethyst Steel, is that it generally can run a race a little bit better than some other color pairings. You're kind of allowed to say, you know what, you keep dealing with me. I'm just going to keep turning sideways and keep reaching for the stars here as we try to win. And we see, it looks like there was an error of play. Mai kind of okay. I guess Mai wanted to do it in a different order, but so far,
Okay.
we've got Helga, which is a great threat for that deals with evasives pretty well. We see Diablo at the table. There was a little bit of thought there. I guess I don't know if there was maybe a concern about the ordering of that, but yeah.
Okay. So we got everybody up, and now this is a decision that you have to make. I think if you're going to quest, I think you could I think you could quest maybe the Rose and the Pete, or challenge in with the Rose and maybe quest maybe just the Pete. But I'd leave that dock ready just in case you can get to some bounce, or you could just pass all. But passing all does set you up for another potential Hades bounce solution, or another Hades coming in. Looking at the hand, I can't quite make out. That is is that a This Is My Family?
This Is My Family, a card that I'm sure Mai is hoping to see instead, which allows you to gain a lure and draw a card.
Talk about that card. The spice of life is in. Why's that card in the deck? I love it.
Devin is all about the spice. Listen, of all the people that I know, Devin is one of the greatest chefs when it comes to trading card games. He loves a good spice. He loves a good one of. He likes sneaking things in that you wouldn't know are coming, and that is definitely one of it. Anybody would say, hey, look at that, a second one played.
Look at that.
So we played a second one. So we gained another lore. We drew another card. We're just continuing the chain. And as now we're seeing a turn of 4. Was that 4? Yeah. Yep, it was 4. Yes, it is, because that's how much Genie costs. We see Genie hit the table.
That's pretty awesome, man. I like that. Just a little bit of spice. If that card were inkable, I think it would be played at a significantly higher level. The fact that it's uninkable, but it's a song, you could just rip it. I think it only costs 2, so yeah, Tipo can sing it, giving Tipo a little something else to do. I don't hate it. I think it's pretty cool, man. I think it's pretty cool.
Ooh, did we just
Let It Go?
We just sing a Let It Go. That's the fancy Let It Go too.
It is. Who are we letting go here?
So a little bit of lore. A little bit of lore about that Let It Go. That Let It Go was actually won by Hector. And so that was one at a DLC by Hector Harris, who was a member of SSG's team. And Devin was like so proud. Devin actually bought the Let It Go from Hector and asked Hector to sign it. So what he's playing with is a Let It Go signed by Hector, the one that he won. Yes, the one that he won at a DLC.
That is awesome, man.
Yeah,
Very cool stuff, man. I like that a lot. Just signing a $900,000 card, no big deal,
no big
and
deal.
play it. That's crazy. I
Yeah,
wish I can't ball out like that. As
no,
you are going to be exerted, so you did not gain any lore that time, but you are still trying to combat this board a little bit, singing a ton of songs, gaining some lore, and then passing it back on over to your opposition. My sitting comfortably at 12. We will finally remove the world of this Tipo, but you're going to have to start gaining some lore here, and you will do so in the form of 2, as Pete and Diablo will get an exertion in. Madam M. Fox can bounce. So actually playing that Let It Go on that dock was huge there.
Yeah, it was very big. Yeah, that was very, very big.
That was huge because you could have got the dock back with the Fox. That was a top deck, and that could have actually changed the game a lot. So my stands Pete back up. No songs this time. As we'll kick back on over to Devin, whose hand is still looking quite healthy. Was that Elsa? I think Elsa might be devastating.
It's flipping through the cards. It's hard to see. I didn't get a chance to see if that was or
Mhm.
not. But we do see. I'm thinking right now. So Devin's kind of doing the math. Devin's figuring out what do I gotta pluck from the table here. What do I need to do to make sure that I control what is happening? And it's just thinking through this process, and it's an important one to do because we're kind of in a sensitive part of the game here. Mai is, at any point could be just one turn away from winning this game.
Mhm.
One turn away.
So here it is. It all comes down to this turn. I think this is a very critical turn. Do you clear this Diablo? I think Helga is just an easy target. You can snipe that with almost anything on your board, pretty much risk free. But you can send this Madam M. Fox and another Infernal Schemer coming in, raining down, popping the. What are we hitting here?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, there's just so many to think about. It's just I could. Oh, okay. So we're choosing that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We're choosing the Diablo. Not a bad target. Banishing it traditionally would get Mai an extra card. Maybe opting not to let Mai get that extra card, and instead saying, hey, you know what? I'll let this be ink because it's not being banished.
Mhm.
Therefore, you don't get a card.
I agree. I think just clearing it now, a nice easy out to it. It is a 7 cost on a 1 cost. So I mean, if you're playing that whole cost equivalency game, maybe that doesn't feel the best, but just stopping your opponent, just cutting your opponent off from resources, I think might be super important. As we do have another top deck, it is going to be another Madam M Fox, so you can continue to rechain these Pete's and just do this thing 2 lore at a time. It seems as we can play Pete out again and freeze the board. No more actions this turn. So if you are setting yourself up for that potential, well, you can't even top deck the Cobra again unless you can get a friends on the other side into a top deck Cobra, and this Fox has to live. So a lot of variables here.
Yes, yeah. There's a few things that need to go perfectly here in order for this to work the way we need it to work. Unfortunately, we do see, and Devin's in the tank here. Devin's making sure we're making the right calls. Devin's opting to quest with that Hades. All right, let's see how else we collect this.
Another bounce here, a bounce into another Hades. I think it just might be a little bit too overwhelming. There it is. The Madam M Fox is down.
Yep.
And yeah, you can clear 2 characters here, and you'll do so. Fox into Fox, bring back the Hades, clear the Pete if you want, or Fox, it doesn't matter. And I think that just might get it done for you, as I think you're also presenting Lorthel on the crackback if you quest all Glimmies right here and kick it back on over to Mai, who has to draw the best card ever created. Do you have it?
Do you has it? And my face says
Regeki. No, it doesn't.
no Regeki. Sorry.
No Regeki.
Better luck next time.
No,
but definitely no Regeki.
No Regeki, as Mai does go down. It looks like we're going one-way ticket to Scoop City as the hand comes out, as Devin, owner of Southside Gaming, comes out and puts on a nice display of Lorcana craftsmanship, gets to the dub over Mai. Taking nothing away from Mai, I think she played incredibly well. But that matchup is very, very difficult on Amber Steel. How does that go in your experience? What do you think when you see Amber Steel versus Blurple?
When I see Amber Steel versus Blurple,
no, it's not Amber Steel. I'm sorry, not Amber Steel. Amethyst Steel.
Oh, Amethyst Steel. That's that. You're so. I think for a lot of the same reasons why Amethyst Steel is a problem for Blurple. I think there's a few of those that exist for why it is. I'm sorry, for Amber Steel. Like normally Amber Steel is an issue. You've got problems when it comes to like those removal songs that deal with your threats. You've got characters that can do it. Amethyst, I would think, would be better. I mean, that's not a matchup I've played a lot of. I have played Blurple. I haven't played against Amethyst Steel a lot with Blurple, to be fair. So I'd imagine that's probably a little bit closer than like the Amber Steel matchup, if I had to guess.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm just looking at some of the chat. A lot of people are pointing out some things that could have gone different, but I like to encourage people to just stay as positive as you can because these decisions are tough. We have the ability to be at the comfort of our own homes and watching this thing live and having those decisions. But I'm sure that when Maya gets back in and looks at the film, or when Devin gets back in and looks at the film, you're going to be like, oh man, I really could have did that different, did this different. But I still take nothing away from the players being in the dojo, being under the lights, under the stage. You got Gabe over here intimidating, you know what I'm saying? Scowl, calling your plays. I mean, you might not be at your peak physical performance, but taking nothing away from either of them, I thought that match was phenomenal. And hopefully we have more. Hopefully that's just an indicator of what we have coming up for the South Side. We're going all the way into round number 3 already. Let's go.
Yeah, we're getting ready to. We're going to be heading over to the interview in just a moment. So at any moment, we're going to get their cameras shut off on us, and the Illuminati's going to come sneaking in here and pushing us to the other side of it. So.
And they just don't even tell us either. They just rip it. Hopefully it's mid sentence. Like right now, I might be saying something, and then boom, it just
then boom,
cuts away.
Exactly. And I'd be totally fine with that. That'd be really cool. Just like out of nowhere, like totally. We call that guerrilla journalism.
Just rug pull us. I'd be down with that. I'm down. I'm down.
Listen,
I'm down.
Yeah. So if you don't pull this away from us, there you go.
All right, we are here with the man behind the magic, Mr. Devin himself, owner of Southside Gaming. I would welcome you here, but this is your home, so you're holding down the fort today with your little Blurple deck.
I did. My little Blurple deck.
Your little Blurple
today. Running, I'm running a little good today.
I see that.
I can't lie.
You've been a Blurple lover for a hot minute, though. I've seen you crafting around with Blurple. You love yourself an Enchanted Elsa.
Oh yeah.
So talk to me about your decision today to play Blurple.
Well, first off, it's a flex, right? I have to be able to play the Elsas.
What's got the most expensive cards? That's the deck I'm going to play.
Yeah. But most importantly, I love playing because I have access to Let It Goes.
Sure.
And I have the championship Let It Goes.
Fancy.
Because our sponsor players, each one of them signed one.
That's awesome.
So like it gives me like a little.
Not a lot of people will let somebody marker on their card. So
they're actually on the card.
That's extra special for sure.
So.
And talk to me a little bit about, obviously, we had Maya on a stream last time. She's a local here. Everybody knows Maya. She's a savage on that purple steel. So were you nervous when you sat down and you realized you had to play against that?
Absolutely. First of all, I read my opponent. I'm like, okay, I don't know who this is. And then I sit down and like, oh, you're playing Maya. I'm like, not only am I playing Maya on stream, but I know she has, first and foremost, shout out to Maya. I mean, excellent player. Excellent.
I agree.
Crushes me.
And it's not because Maya's sitting behind the camera.
No, listen, it is exactly why. No, I'm just kidding. No, crushes me during locals, right? Makes me want to play Purple Steel every single time.
Yep.
And then, I just ran very well. I think that my opening for game 2 was just insane. I had the perfect curve. I had the popsicle into the bell, into the to friends. So.
And Quad Hades game 1.
Quad Hades.
I mean, come on.
And I almost lost it. I almost managed to lose that game, right?
And Elsa. Quad Hades and Elsa. And you still.
Because sometimes I have an issue to where like I just don't know when just to go for it to quest, and that one turn can make such a difference, especially against Purple Steel, where they have access to Cobra and all these other cards where they could just gain lore so quick, right?
Absolutely.
But
knowing when to be the aggressor and when to be the defender is a huge part of the game. So being able to identify that. Big heads up on that.
Yeah, but
for sure. And I saw some interesting inclusions, like this is by family in the deck.
Like that, right?
How's that been treating you?
I'm gonna be honest. I chose to take those out, and I removed the one drop turner box for it. Okay. And the reason why is because I just like to draw. Okay. It gives me that access to that lore, and there's nothing for me. It just feels great when I draw. When I'm able to sing with Tipo.
Sure.
And it feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good, and there's a little tech that I get into it. And sometimes I find that when I have my, even with the, during some of these games where they go a little bit longer, I don't have goats in my deck.
Sure.
So like at some point, like let's say a game, and I have no lore, right? So like at least this gives me the ability to draw, and I gain a lore with it, so it keeps me a little stabilized. But That's why I chose it. It's
For
been
sure.
working well so far. So
Yeah, if it works, if it ain't
You
broke,
know?
don't fix it. And you have a lot of reps on the deck, so I'm sure you're going to continue to
Yeah.
perform well today. And not only holding it down for the store, but holding on to your bounty mat.
that's all I cared
So,
about. I'm
yeah.
like, you know what? As long as I don't get too old. Well,
Some
if I
peeps have
do,
already been handing them
it's
out
against
out
mine.
there.
Yeah.
I've already seen some people, unfortunately, handing out the bounty mats out there, man. So I know you got to.
I can't say anything. You know all about the community, but come on.
Yeah,
man.
no,
Come
it's
on.
all
No,
good.
It's all love. That's what it's for, though. So everyone has the ability to get one.
Of
right?
course.
And first
It's
of all,
all
it's
fun.
beautiful. I think it's one of my favorite mats.
I believe you. It is my favorite mat.
know?
Yeah. It's top tier mat for sure. Well, congratulations, Devin. Obviously, no
appreciate it.
stranger here, and
Yeah.
I hope to continue to see you on the
Like,
camera later on today.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations on your win.
Hopefully, I get a little bit more interviews.
I think you will. I think you will. You're a good-looking dude, so I don't see why
Not
not.
as good as you. You know? My brother.
GG's, brother.
Thank you, brother.
All right, we're getting ready for another interview coming up with Mai. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you all, friends, for being here. Much love as we pass it over to the next interview.
All right, and we are up here with Mai. Hello, Mai. No stranger to the stream. We had her at her last event. She was a fan favorite. Everybody in the crowd cheering, Mai, go, Mai, Mai, Mai. So Mai is back, and unfortunately, didn't go your way this round, but
No.
it's okay. There's still a lot of rounds left, and you're still very much in contention. So you're playing your purple steel deck, which you've been playing for quite some time.
Yes.
So talk to me about, what you decided to stick with it. You already know how to play it, so just go with that.
Yeah, I was super excited when Hiram got, like,
Oh, yeah.
Hiram
You got the
banned.
axe.
I was like, okay, maybe this will be my, I can probably take it over before Jafar Reigns comes out.
Sure.
But then now, with Blurple being back on the rise again, and with Green Steel, this card doing so well, I'm like, man, it's so hard.
Yeah,
it's definitely difficult.
it's tricky.
You have to like with Purple Steel, it's like so like a different gameplay. Like when you play like Green Steel, like oh yeah, you can play like the John and then you play Sunshine, whatever. But with Purple Steel, you have to like make sure you do every single move perfect.
Of course.
Or else it's just not gonna.
Falls apart.
Yeah, it falls apart.
For sure.
Yeah, and the Elsa getting me in the first round.
Oh, I know. Not only the regular Elsa, I had a chanted Elsa. I was like,
I was like, oh. I mean, at least I got to see the pretty card.
Oh,
before,
for sure. Yeah, definitely a tough break there. And are there any changes that you thought about making before coming in here, like to prepare for like what did you expect to play against today, essentially?
Definitely a lot of like I definitely thought Diablo was definitely gonna be back in again.
Okay.
So that's why I put in the Helga.
Okay, I saw that. Yeah,
the
she's
challenger
definitely
free
good, really
evasive.
good in this evasive meta for sure.
Yeah, and me and my boyfriend were playing the same deck right now.
Sure.
We definitely like.
Shout out to
expected-
Zeke, by the way. I saw him out there.
We definitely thought we were gonna play against Red Purple more too. So we put in like different mod of cards
Sure.
to tech against that.
Of
pretty
course.
much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going okay so far.
Good.
so-
Yeah. What'd you play against round one?
Green Steel discard.
Green steel. Okay.
I was on the draw and I won.
There you go. You see
And
that? Well, there's a lot of green steel I've walked around. There's a lot of green steel here, so I
I-
hope you continue to get those matchups and winning them. So,
Thank you so much.
of course. Well, it's always a pleasure, Mai, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you later on today. And
Maybe.
can keep doing a great job today, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.